Part 92. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 932. Morgana, who was studying some space-time issues in her room, was awakened from her meditative state by an urgent communication. After connecting to the communication, what caught her sight was Achuo with an anxious look on his face. "What's wrong, Atto? What happened? You're so panicked." Morgana picked up the tea placed on the table nearby and took a sip, but the words that came out of Achuo's mouth the next moment made her so shocked that she spit out the tea that she had not yet swallowed. "What are you talking about?" Binghua appeared near Devil No 2. Morgana stood up in a flash and came directly to the bridge of the Demon 2 through the micro-wormhole. "Damn! What do you do for food? That guy Binghua came into your house, and you didn't notice anything unusual?" As soon as Morgana entered the bridge, she cursed angrily. Because she saw Binghua's figure standing in the sky in the main screen projection at a glance, and behind him was a mechanical metal ring that was being formed. Queen, the Heavenly Sword King appeared too suddenly. "We had no trace of her before," the demon in charge of Demon No 2's detection said aggrievedly. Morgana suppressed the anger in her heart and calmed herself down. "What's that metal ring?" Morgana asked immediately. After hearing this, Demon Number 2 immediately began to analyze and compare it in the database. At the same time, Binghua, whose whereabouts had been exposed, did not have any scruples, and had already equipped the Titan's hand armor on his hand. The power of the invisible force field directly spreads a field of death around the body, and any demon warrior who steps into it will twist and die. Damn, it's a force field, just like Kesha's bitch's sacred realm. Tell all the demons not to get close to her and use long-range attacks on me. All battleships, please stop watching and open fire for me," Morgana ordered angrily when she saw the demon corpses piled up in a circle around Binghua. "But Queen, below the opponent is our resource synthesis base. If we use ship-based weapons, I'm afraid." The devil didn't say the rest, but the meaning was conveyed. Morgana's expression was gloomy, and she finally raised her hand and took back her order. In order to deal with Binghua alone, she blew up her own base to pieces. It was too much of a gain. Moreover, Morgana has always been worried about the fact that she was easily beheaded by Binghua last time. Over the years, she has been working hard to study the techniques to deal with Binghua. Today, the opponent appears alone in his base camp. Isn't it a good opportunity to defeat the opponent? As for killing Binghua, Morgana never thought that as long as the gap between gods was not too big, it would be difficult to distinguish between life and death. As for Binghua's previous actions in the Styx galaxy, Morgana obtained detailed battle processes and data from Carl. She is not afraid of the so-called liberation of stars. She, Morgana, has the best wormhole transport technology in the universe. If she can't stop it, why can't she run away? Devil Number 2, Demon Number 3, and Demon Number 4 retreated, increasing the distance between them and Binghua. "You queens, I want to have a personal encounter with the Heavenly Sword King Binghua today." After Morgana made the decision, she issued the order without hesitation. The reason why the celestial battleship was asked to retreat was to prevent it from being affected by the liberation of the star. Otherwise, it would be too tragic if he ran away but his subordinates did not. After Binghua blocked the first wave of demonic attacks in the universe, she didn't pay too much attention when she saw that the demon's 3 celestial battleships began to retreat. Now that the base of the demon civilization has been found, it will be difficult for the other party to easily escape the angel's sight. Another reason is that she is building a temporary warp stargate and has no time to block the evacuation of the demon celestial battleship. Say Milo, how much time will it take to complete the warp gate? Although Binghua had expected the current situation, he still asked. "Goddess, it will take 3 minutes for the jump gate to connect to the jump gate in Merlot heaven." Hearing this, Binghua calmed down. 3 minutes would not be enough to cover the distance at the speed of the demon fleet. Just when Binghua relaxed a little, a strange space fluctuation suddenly appeared at the jump door behind her. Binghua turned back subconsciously, and at the same time, his body quickly moved away from the half-constructed jump door. It can be seen with the naked eye that the space around the folding door is condensing and compressing rapidly towards the center point, and then explodes suddenly, directly wiping out everything within a few meters. Although I don't know what you are doing, it is definitely right to stop you. Hearing the sound, Binghua's eyes moved away from the half-remaining folding door and landed on that familiar yet unfamiliar figure. I didn't expect you to come out to fight me. This was my mistake. Although the battle plan was ruined by Morgana's sudden appearance, Binghua was not angry at all. Seeing this former sister again after nearly 10,000 years, Binghua felt a little complicated in her heart, feeling lucky and relieved at the same time. Fortunately, he didn't kill her last time. After all, it was not a pleasant feeling to personally kill the sister who was once the closest to him. To his relief, when he met Liang Bing again, Binghua found that he was not as emotional as he had imagined, but rather too calm. This made Binghua sigh in her heart. Time is really the most ruthless carving knife, it will unknowingly change the original appearance of everything. Morgana was a little unhappy with Binghua's sudden wandering behavior and raised her hand to shake it. The previously weird space compression ability appeared again, but this time it was where Binghua was. Although Binghua was a little distracted, she did not completely lose her vigilance. She avoided the terrifying space-destroying blast with a single movement. Binghua, even though you killed me last time, it doesn't mean you have room to lose focus during the battle with me. Facing Morgana's words, Binghua exhaled heavily. He glanced at the location of the previous space explosion and understood the principle of Liang Bing's attack. It's really a good idea to use wormholes to create spatial singularities, thereby triggering the contraction and collapse of space, and finally blasting the spatial singularities. Morgana didn't feel the slightest joy at Binghua's praise, because it meant that the space explosion technology she had worked so hard to research was easily seen through by the other party. So what if you see through it, you still have no way to defend against it? Morgana was multitasking as she spoke, and in the blink of an eye, several spatial explosions covered a large area around Binghua. But before the space explosion was completed, Binghua's figure disappeared directly, leaving only a trace of lightning that gradually dissipated. You should be very familiar with my fighting methods. Then you have never thought that an attack that takes shape so slowly can really hit me. Morgana was shocked when she heard the sound, because the sound rang right next to her ears, and the memory of being beheaded by Binghua's sword suddenly came to her mind. With the silver arc flashing, the 7 Killing King sword slashed across Morgana's abdomen, but what made Binghua frown was that there was no real feeling of hitting an object. I saw a reader asking how many chapters a day will take. This cannot be guaranteed because my working hours are not fixed. If you have time, update more often, if you don't have time, update less. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 933. After Morgana received Binghua's sword, she quickly moved away from Binghua's surroundings without thinking. Binghua did not pursue, she was still thinking about why her attack failed just now. It seems this method is completely feasible. Morgana secretly thought in her heart, and after gaining confidence, she immediately challenged Binghua. Binghua, no matter how good or fast your swordsmanship and speed are, don't even think of causing harm to me. At the same time, Morgana's originally worried heart was relieved. For thousands of years, she had been getting rid of the shadow of being beheaded by Binghua. She had been thinking about various ways to avoid Binghua's sharp melee combat, and finally she came up with a feasible method. Since you can't dodge or react, just prevent yourself from being hit. The inspiration comes from Karl's phantom body that cannot be destroyed. With no worries, Morgana immediately began to attack boldly, using space explosions frequently. But as Binghua said, no matter how powerful it is in vain if it fails to hit. Binghua frowned. To be honest, Liang Bing's improvement in strength over the years was a bit beyond her expectations. It seemed that while she was getting stronger, others were not wasting their time. But Binghua didn't believe that Liang Bing could really evade her attacks. It was just because he hadn't seen through her tricks yet. Deciding to test it out a little, Binghua immediately changed his attack mode, from the original close hand-to-hand combat to a long-range attack mode. As soon as the 7-killing King Sword was raised, thunder and lightning burst out, like a flash of light that divided the darkness. Seeing this, Morgana cursed secretly and left the place through the micro-wormhole, but as soon as she appeared, another bolt of thunder and lightning struck down, as if a tracker was installed on her body. "Damn, are you done yet?" After being driven by lightning to change her position more than 10 times, Morgana finally couldn't bear it anymore and stretched out her hand to build a space corridor. The falling lightning seemed to be lost above Morgana's head due to the time and space corridor, and kept spinning in circles. "I'll give you back your lightning." After completing the closed loop of the time and space corridor, Morgana immediately controlled the time and space corridor to project lightning. Binghua just raised his sword and swiped lightly, and the lightning projected by Morgana turned into scattered arcs and disappeared into the void. "It seems that you can't completely evade my attack. Are you afraid of a large-scale energy strike?" "I seem to understand a little bit." Binghua rubbed his chin a little, thoughtfully, but these words were like a bolt from the blue to Morgana's ears. Although Morgana had already overestimated Binghua's analysis and insight capabilities. But Morgana still didn't expect that in just a few minutes, the space explosion and local space displacement she used would be seen through by the opponent. In fact, it doesn't matter even if they are seen through. Beings like her and Binghua who have lived for tens of thousands of years have extremely comprehensive knowledge reserves in their minds. Most technologies can be understood at a glance. Just like the thunder tactics used by Binghua, techniques such as weapon arsenal projection, Morgana also knows its principles and its driving formula. But whether it can reach Binghua's level is another matter, because it involves all aspects. But in Morgana's impression, Binghua was different. She was keen on stacking and recreating various inconspicuous technologies. Although most of the time the results are useless, there are also times when powerful technologies are born. Just like Binghua's iconic force field control today, when this thing first appeared, it was difficult to move several tons of material. But now in Binghua's hands, it has gone through countless optimizations and upgrades, and it has reached a level that can tear the Earth apart and move stars. Therefore, she had always overestimated Ice Flower Morgana, but now she found that she still underestimated her. While Morgana's mind was racing with thoughts, Binghua was thinking about a very simple thing. Morgana's combat system has always been developed based on time and space, and it is absolutely impossible to suddenly abandon this aspect and start a new one. Therefore, the previous state of being unable to be harmed should also be achieved by relying on time and space technology. However, there are not many spatial means that can create this state. They are nothing more than space transfer, space replacement, and space shuttle technologies. And it shouldn't be able to be maintained for a long time, or the range of influence is not large, otherwise it would not be able to dodge his own thunder and lightning attacks. Now that he had the idea, the next step was to verify it. Thinking of this, Binghua planned to take the initiative to see what kind of trick Morgana was playing. "Queen, there is a strong space energy reaction around King Tianjian, you must be careful." Morgana heard the reminder from the dispatcher on the Demon 2. "I understand. Pay close attention to Binghua's actions. You continue to retreat and don't stop." When Morgana heard this, she immediately became vigilant, and at the same time told Demon number 2 not to come forward and join in the fun, otherwise she would be heartbroken if he was destroyed. "It's the Queen." In addition, Achuo has led high-level demons to support you. Morgana frowned when she heard this and said a little dissatisfied. Didn't I say that this is a matter between Binghua and I, so you should all stay out of it? At this moment, Achuo's communication came in. Queen, I understand your desire to compete with the Heavenly Sword King, but we demons cannot live without you. So I took it upon myself to lead the high-level demons away from demon number 2. Don't worry, Queen, I won't rashly approach the battlefield between you and the Heavenly Sword King. I will only secretly support you from the sidelines. Morgana heard the worry in Achuo's words, and her scolding voice softened. Okay, remember not to get involved in my battlefield easily. That guy Binghua is not easy to mess with. Squeezing you to death is like squeezing an ant to death. At this moment, a shadow obscured Morgana's vision, and at the same time, the anxious voice of the Demon 2 dispatcher squeezed into the communication channel. Queen! Get out of the way! When Morgana heard this, she immediately raised her head. What caught her sight was a giant sword whose length and thickness continued to expand. She exclaimed in a meaningful way. Destruction Star Blade! Morgana knew this weapon, and she even provided some suggestions when Binghua was developing this weapon. But now, apart from the fact that she could vaguely recognize the Star Blade of Destruction, she had no idea how Binghua made the Star Blade of Destruction so huge. Seeing that the Star Blade of Destruction was almost completed, Binghua stopped carrying its components. With a thought, the Star Blade of Destruction, which was several kilometers long, rolled down like a mountain. Morgana didn't even think about blocking it, so she could only flee from the place in frustration and appeared thousands of meters away. But the demon base and resource refining and synthesis factory on the surface of this planet suffered. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 934. The huge size of the Star Blade of Destruction brought huge mass to the surface, which caused extremely serious damage to the terrain. Binghua did not apply any algorithm to the Star Blade of Destruction. Just hitting the ground caused a terrifying shock. The demon factories with a radius of more than 10 kilometers from its impact point were damaged to varying degrees. The closer to the Star Blade of Destruction, the more serious the damage. Just as Morgana was gnashing her teeth as she looked at her messy base, Binghua's hateful voice reached her ears again. You were distracted during the battle with me, Liang Bing, are you too confident in your own strength? Don't let me find the opportunity to behead you again. As he spoke, Binghua narrowed the distance between him and Morgana, and at the same time controlled the Star Blade of Destruction on the surface to disintegrate. The thousands-meter-long Star Blade of Destruction suddenly turned into 1-meter-long sharp blades that rose into the air and floated around Binghua. Seeing this scene, Morgana felt her scalp numb. She no longer dared to hold it up and carried out the 2 newly created demon claws. Devil number 2. Activate the Scourge Bombing. Blow up those things around the target Binghua. As she spoke, Morgana took the initiative and dozens of dark silver chains rushed out of the wormhole, covering Binghua like a big net. Binghua raised his sword and pointed at Morgana's position, and the sea of blades floating around like a silver raging wave immediately surged out. The large net constructed by the dark silver chains was directly dispersed by the ocean of blades, and was carried towards Morgana. Morgana was unusually calm at this moment, and she clenched her devil's claws into a fist and struck at the incoming silver raging wave. She herself used her skilled wormhole shuttle ability to constantly change her position to prevent being surrounded and strangled by the ocean of blades. At the same time, Devil 2, Devil 3, and Devil 4 suddenly launched 12 Scourge missiles trailing blue flames into the wormhole opened in front. At the same time, a wormhole suddenly appeared in front of Binghua, and 6 Scourge missiles trailing flames came straight towards her location. Although he didn't know what it was, he was careful and Binghua quickly retreated backwards. At the same time, he used the force field control of Titan's grip to build a powerful force field shield around him. The next second the Scourge missile that flew towards Binghua suddenly exploded and turned into a dazzling white light group. The terrifying energy continued to swallow up and evaporate all surrounding materials. When 6 shining light clusters appeared on Binghua's side, 6 shining clusters of light also appeared on the destruction star blade that strangled Morgana. When Binghua regained his sight, he saw that less than half of the ocean of blades transformed by the destruction star blade was now left. Except for a few wreckage that could no longer be seen as they were, the rest had been destroyed by the Scourge missile explosion just now. Evaporated directly. Binghua, it doesn't matter if you have many weapons. I have prepared hundreds of Scourge missiles. If you dare to take them out, see if I don't blow up all your inventory. Seeing Binghua's stern face, Morgana felt relieved. The other party always bullied her with weapons, so let's see what she would do now. Binghua did not quarrel with Liang Bing, but recycled the components of the Star Blade of Destruction that were still intact. From the powerful energy annihilation weapon just now, Binghua came to the conclusion that it was no longer suitable to use remote control weapons to fight. In this case, just return to the hand-to-hand combat mode at the beginning. It just so happened that she was almost done with the experiment. After Binghua recovered the weapon, thunder and lightning immediately appeared around him, and then it turned into a bolt of lightning and rushed towards Morgana's location. The two immediately began to get entangled, but this time Morgana discovered that Binghua did not attack her body directly. Thunder and lightning struck the surroundings like spider webs, and Binghua's Wang sword, wrapped in lightning in his hand, even pulled out a long lightning strike. Morgana relied on local space replacement to avoid Binghua's several consecutive attacks, and then began to counterattack. Use space explosion and space corridor together, and occasionally use the cool trick to use space confinement and space cutting. The Devil's Claw is constantly looking for opportunities in the surroundings. Binghua relied on his keen insight and super speed to easily avoid the various methods used by Morgana. At the same time, Binghua was also using her own method to eliminate the evasive methods used by Morgana step by step. Of course, it seems that the two are at loggerheads, and even Morgana herself thinks that she is only slightly at a disadvantage. But in fact, Binghua had placed space-disrupting swords around him before he showed his body. However, because the activation characteristics of the space-disrupting sword were too obvious, he revealed his body to attract the devil's attention, and also to attract Liang Bing. In fact, before Binghua decided to sneak in here, he and Kesha made 2 sets of combat plans when they were in Merlot Heaven. The first set was that when everything went well, Binghua successfully built the jump gate in the Devil's Station. When the time comes, Kesha, Hexi, Yan, Leng, and a group of high-level angels will pass through the jump gate and arrive directly at the battlefield. At that time, no matter how capable Liang Bing is, he will have no choice but to surrender and cannot make any waves. Even the main force of the devil cannot be left behind. After all, Binghua, who had just wiped out the Death Song Academy, had the absolute right to say anything about large-scale destruction. It was just a matter of spending more time. The second plan is that if things don't go well, Binghua will deal with the main force of the demon civilization alone. Binghua's goal has also changed from destroying demonic civilization to capturing Liang Bing. After all, she has reincarnation technology. Binghua didn't know if she would be reincarnated somewhere if she killed Liang Bing again and continued to fight against Merlot Heaven. Otherwise, when fighting Liang Bing, she only needs to take out the neutron blade and use space to disrupt the sword control field, and she can easily kill Morgana. In the face of absolute power, Liang Bing's wormhole transportation technology is useless even if it is not used. While Binghua was plotting against Morgana, Morgana had also been on guard for Binghua to take out the space disruption sword and neutron blade. Because she had suffered several losses on this, She remembered it so deeply. Because the space disruption sword disrupts space when activated, whether she is traveling through a wormhole or displacing space, it will be interrupted by the space disruption at that moment. As for the neutron glaive, this thing was extremely dangerous, and Morgana decided to run away as soon as she saw Hiawa take out this weapon. Just when Morgana followed her previous practice and planned to use space confinement to see if she could restrain Binghua, a familiar wave of blue energy suddenly spread from not far away, and Morgana's pupils shrank slightly. She was about to give up on the spatial confinement she was halfway through, and planned to immediately distance herself from Binghua to buy herself some time. Seeing that Morgana wanted to run away, how could Binghua, who had been preparing for so long, allow it? The force field energy that quietly spread to the surroundings suddenly changed from virtual to solid. Morgana was immediately restrained. Normally, she could use the wormhole to transport herself to escape the confinement of the force field. But the fluctuations of space disruption happened to pass by her position at this time, making it impossible for Morgana to use the wormhole to escape immediately. Even the partial space replacement failed. At this moment, Morgana felt cold and felt that it was over. She had been fooled by Binghua. Several god-binding chains protruded from the void and passed through Morgana's armpits, neck, waist, and abdomen, and then tightened instantly to hang her body, which was imprisoned by the force field, in the void. As Hiawa stabbed Morgana's abdomen with the space-disrupting sword, Morgana's last possibility of escape was cut off. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 935. You're cheating on me. Morgana's entire body was hung up in a large glyph shape, and her whole body was surrounded by chains of the god of binding that penetrated into the void. As Morgana struggled hard, the chains of the god of binding were stretched straight. While struggling, Morgana also wanted to use wormhole transportation to escape from the restraints of the god beaming lock, but the space-disrupting sword pierced into her abdomen was not fatal, but it kept generating small-scale space waves, interfering with her wormhole calculations. How can I blame you? We know each other so well, but your personality has not changed at all in the past thousands of years, and you are still so careless in your behavior. If you didn't jump out, how could I have a chance to catch you? After Binghua successfully captured Liang Bing, her brows finally relaxed, because this time she had achieved half of her goal. In order to prevent Morgana from escaping unexpectedly, Binghua did not leave here to pursue the distant demon fleet. After Morgana heard Binghua's words, she lowered her head. Her hanging hair covered the upper half of her face, completely losing her previous pride and arrogance. The only thing Morgana can move now is her neck. This is the result of Binghua removing the chain from her neck, otherwise she would not be able to move at all. At this time, Morgana felt a little regretful, knowing that Binghua was extremely powerful. She still took the risk to fight with him. Moreover, this battle happened so suddenly that she didn't even have contact with Carl, and it was impossible for him to support her now. At this moment, Binghua looked to the right in surprise, and a scarlet energy slash swept across the starry sky and struck at the force field she had erected. Queen. We are here to save you. Achuo led a dozen high-level demons and several fallen angels to quickly approach Binghua's location. Leave quickly. Don't come here and die. Seeing this, Morgana quickly shouted out that if she had not been captured by Binghua, she would still be able to cooperate with Achuo and the others. But now that he was captured, Binghua could free up his hands to take care of them all. Queen, the demon civilization can live without me and everyone present, but it cannot live without you. A demonic civilization without a queen cannot be called a demonic civilization at all. As he spoke, Achuo directly hit the force field shield, and his body ignited with scarlet energy flames. Behind him, a group of high-level demons and fallen angels dispersed, launching their most powerful energy attacks. In an instant, energy slashes, flame bombardments and many other attacks all hit the force field shield constructed by Binghua. Binghua frowned slightly when he saw this. If this continues, it will only be a matter of time before the force field shield is broken. High-level demons and fallen angels will be fine. The leading demon named Achuo has energy fluctuations comparable to those of a third-generation god. He is not an ordinary demon that can be crushed to death with a force field at will. If he is left alone, he might actually rush towards him. Before the force shield was broken, Binghua opened her left hand equipped with Titan's grip and waved it. A horizontally crushing force field was instantly exerted on Achuo and his group of demons, as if an invisible will was running over them. Except for a few demons with divine bodies, fallen angels, and Achuo, more than 20 high-level demons and fallen angels flew out on the spot. At the same time, Binghua's weapons arsenal expanded again, and nearly 100 flaming swords protruded from the void, and then they were all dyed red. With Binghua's thought, the arsenal immediately began to project with all its strength, and the flaming sword was like a red meteor shower, covering the demons and fallen angels that were knocked away. Binghua's idea was simple. Clear out all the easy-to-kill enemies first, so as not to come out and harass her later. Facing the rain of flaming swords, a few fallen angels used energy release methods to dodge in an emergency, while most of the high-level demons were shot into hedgehogs. That's why it happened, because Binghua's sword rain covered too much area. The lucky ones only got a few wounds on their bodies, while the unlucky ones burped on the spot. While Binghua was cooking high-level demons, several great demons headed by Achuo and god-level fallen angels took the opportunity to attack from all directions. The division of labor is very clear. The big demon and Achuo rush towards Binghua to attract attention. The target of the three fallen angels is Morgana, who is hung in the void by the god-binding chain. If you are not afraid of death, don't go together. Achuo, you withstand Binghua's attack while the others attack from the flanks. Seeing that she could no longer stop Achuo and other demons, Morgana was moved and quickly reminded her. I caught you and you talk so much. Since your men are here to die, I will help them. Binghua directly manipulated the chain to seal Morgana's mouth, cut off her secret communication, and turned around with several thick bolts of lightning to strike at the approaching fallen angel. Immediately, the 5 fingers of his left hand equipped with the Titan's grip opened up, facing Achuo, who was swinging his giant sword at him, and the force field immediately imprisoned him and made him unable to move. But the big demons present obviously listened to their queen's advice and approached Binghua's position from both sides, one on the left and the other on the right. Seeing this, Binghua put down the left hand that was restraining Achuo, and made several small and well-timed dodges to avoid the thrusts and slashes of the devil's blade in the hands of the big devil. Staring at Binghua's cold eyes, the big demon felt a chill in his heart and wanted to retreat, but it was already too late. A silver arc streaked through the void, and the demon blade that stabbed out instantly shattered. Immediately, 2 more arcs of light passed through the big demon's body. The next second, 2 blood lines, one horizontal and one diagonal, appeared on its strong purple-black body. All this happened in the blink of an eye, and the other big demon was so frightened that he lost his soul. Although he knew that Binghua was very strong, the strength was too high. A big demon of the same level as himself burped before he could even hold on for 2 seconds. Wouldn't he die in vain if he got closer? So the great demon immediately adjusted his direction and worked hard to incite the flesh wings behind him, intending to stay away from the evil star Binghua. But Binghua had already set his sights on him. How could he be allowed to escape easily from his attack range? The blue thunder shuttled through the void, and in an instant it came to the timid demon and turned into ice. Binghua's sword struck the demon's blade that the big demon had hurriedly raised to block, and dazzling lightning surged, illuminating the surrounding space. The great demon was struck by lightning and was charred on the outside but tender on the inside. Before he could recover, Binghua's sword pierced his head and killed him on the spot. At this time, Achuo had just increased his speed. Seeing that his two colleagues were killed by Binghua, his scarlet eyes turned even redder. I must kill you. Facing Achuo's roar, Binghua was indifferent. She had seen this kind of scene too many times. Facing the giant sword that was slashing with scarlet energy, Binghua opened the force field again and stopped its momentum just like that. Aituo tried his best, but couldn't make the weapon in his hand make any further progress. It was obvious that the distance between him and Binghua was less than 2 meters, but even this distance of less than 2 meters was like an insurmountable chasm. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 936. Facing the giant sword surging with scarlet energy so close at hand, Binghua looked indifferent, like a lofty god looking down at the mortals in front of him who dared to challenge him. Your loyalty to Liangbing is commendable, but the order of justice cannot tolerate evil people like you who only know destruction. Binghua said lightly, and then raised his left hand equipped with the Titan's hand armor to face the giant sword in Achuo's hand. The strength of the force field suddenly solidified a bit. Although it could not crush Achuo's demonic body in a short time, it could still destroy the weapon in the opponent's hand. As the force field surged, Achuo's body trembled slightly, and the extremely terrifying pressure began to crush his body. The dark energy surging on the demon's sword was quickly consumed, revealing its original appearance of pitch black with scarlet lines. Let Achuo go. Several fallen angels who had been swept away by Binghua's force field attack were now approaching again. This time they learned their lesson and were directly hit by a flame bombing from a distance. Without moving his body, Binghua swung his right sword and threw out a slash of flames, directly cutting the incoming flame bombing energy in half and exploding on the spot. Aituo, who was silently enduring the crushing force of the ice flower force field, suddenly widened his eyes slightly. Starting from the tip of the sword in his hand, cracks began to spread backwards to the entire sword body. As a circle of surging energy exploded, Aituo was carried by the energy impact and flew backwards, while Binghua used a force field to direct the energy to one side. A very precious god-killing sword was damaged in this way. The remaining 3 fallen angels did not blindly attack again. Instead, they retreated to Achuo and joined the other surviving great demons and high-level demons. Morgana was still unable to speak or contact Achuo. She finally understood that with the power of Achuo and the others, they could not rescue the captured herself from Binghua. If Binghua hadn't kept an eye on him, Achuo and the others would have been slaughtered by Binghua by now. Facing Binghua, who is proficient in hand-to-hand combat, has various attack methods, and has nearly 30,000 years of combat experience, only Achuo, who possesses the pseudo-third-generation divine body, can sustain 1.5 moves, while the others are all instantly killed. If they don't leave here now while Binghua Teng is unable to take action, when Binghua and others come to support them, none of Achuo and the others will be able to escape. Not to mention what Morgana was thinking at the moment, Binghua was also having a headache about the current situation. She didn't want any accidents to happen in her attempt to capture Liangbing. Therefore, when fighting Achuo and the others, they tried their best to stay around the place where Morgana was restrained, because they were afraid that they would be held back by the demon regardless of casualties. When Morgana gets out of trouble, it will be difficult for him to catch her. What makes Binghua even more troublesome is that after Morgana was captured, the number of high-level demons and big demons coming to support was increasing. If he doesn't think of a way out, he will probably face the siege of nearly 100 high-level demons and big demons later. Suddenly, Hyuka thought of part of Samiolo's legacy that he had harvested after the battle to annihilate Samiolo. Samiolo, how many executors have been repaired now? Can Destroyer 101 be dispatched to perform the mission? Faced with Binghua's inquiry, Samiolo, who had remained silent, replied. Currently, 4 executor-class units have been repaired, and Destroyer 101 was also repaired a year ago and is on standby in the Justice World. Whether to issue combat orders. Hearing this, A smile appeared on Binghua's face, and she looked at the demons with a hint of amusement in her eyes. That's good, contact the executor level and 101 who can take action, and tell them that they are here to survive. After communicating with Samailo, mechanical components appeared in the void behind Binghua, and then began to quickly assemble into a 2-meter-high mechanical ring. Faced with Binghua's behavior, Achuo and other demons could only watch helplessly. Even if they rushed like before, they would only die in vain. They were formulating a battle plan to rescue the queen. There are demons who have made up their minds to hold back the Heavenly Sword King even if they have to sacrifice their own lives. Just when the demons headed by Achuo had formulated a combat plan and were about to implement it, an accident in the metal ring behind Binghua disrupted everything. As a few minutes passed, the small jump door connecting to the chaotic star sea was completed. It was remotely powered by the purification host, and with Binghua's positioning, the connection between the two sides was extremely fast. At the moment of communication, a total of 5 figures flew out of the folding gate. Not only were their bodies and appearances exactly the same as Binghua's, there was no difference at all. Executors 118, 119, 120, and 121 obey the order and annihilate all the demons in front of you. Seeing the appearance of the executor class, Binghua directly issued combat orders. Command information flashed in the dark eyes of the 4 executor class machines, and they answered simultaneously. Follow the goddess's command and destroy all demons. Immediately, 4 executor-level mechanical warriors rushed towards the demon headed by Achuo. Finally, Binghua gave the order to Destroyer 101 alone. I will hand over the command authority of the 4 executor-level units to you. Your mission is to annihilate the main force of demons, with no time limit. In addition, priority is given to ensuring the safety of oneself and the executor level. Facing Binghua's order, 101 nodded slightly and spoke. Follow your orders, goddess. Compared with the previous executor class, 101's voice is not so cold. However, Binghua didn't care about these subtle differences. She knew that 101 had a certain sense of autonomy, which was why she handed over the executive-level command authority to her. Although the two fought to the death in the previous annihilation battle of Seminary, it is undeniable that 101 is an extremely perfect weapon. After Binghua obtained the purification host and cancelled Samilo's purification agreement, he asked Samilo to repair 101. In fact, Binghua's attitude towards 101 is more like a subordinate than a weapon, but 101's sense of autonomy is a bit dull and needs time to grow. Morgana, who was hanging aside, had her eyes widened at this time, although she didn't know what these beings who suddenly appeared and looked like Binghua were. But she knew that Sun Wukong from China had a technique to create a powerful clone. Although the clone's strength was somewhat different from the original body, could Sun Wukong compete with Binghua? Morgana has no doubt that if possible, Binghua will make the clone as strong as the main body. The next moment, Morgana looked at the 4 executor class machines that rushed into the demons and killed them wantonly, as well as the Destroyer 101, which did not fall behind in the confrontation with Ado, and her mood sank to the bottom. Although the executor class is a little underwhelming in front of Binghua, you must know that during the annihilation battle of Seminary, the first 3 executor classes were able to hold back a divine double-winged existence like Ran. Except for a very small number of big demons and fallen angels, the demons under Morgana's command are basically high-level demons, which are completely unable to block the executioner-level attack. 101 itself is a celestial-level civilization-suppressing weapon created by Samilo. Although the true body is not revealed, it is still not a problem to hold down Achuo, who is a pseudo-third-generation god. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 937. The gathered demon formations were disrupted, and the battle plan was shattered by the emergence of the Executor and 101. At this moment, the demons and fallen angels headed by Achuo fell into an extremely dangerous situation. Binghua did not rush over to join in the fun. Liang Bing was proficient in time and space technology and might have some unknown means. If he was far away from her, he would not be able to react in time if anything happened. There was a stalemate like this for more than 10 minutes. Although the Executor class received some attacks, it was protected by a purifying energy field and did not suffer much damage. Achuo also had some tricks up his sleeve. Destroyer 101 had no means of killing Achuo. He could only use his own flying blade to entangle him, and launch purification beams from time to time for bombardment. The ones who died the most after fighting for so long were high-level demons, all of whom were hacked to death by the Executor level, but the demons gradually discovered the shortcomings of the Executor level. That is, they lack long-range attack methods, and their brains are not very bright, so they can use diversionary tactics to hold them back. But at this time, another problem arose. The big demon and most of the fallen angels had gone to contain the Executor class, so who would save the captured queen? After the previous rescue operations, all the demons present knew that the high-level demons were just delivering food, and even the big demons could be killed instantly by Binghua. And if it drags on any longer, you don't have to think about it to know that the support from Merlo Heaven will definitely arrive here, and by then all the demons present will not be able to escape. In fact, Binghua had already sent the coordinates here to Merlo Heavenly Court, and when Merlo Heavenly Court's Heavenly Blade Fleet was about to arrive, he jumped out to attract the devil's attention. Achuo, Demon 2 has detected that multiple large wormholes are forming near you. They are Skyblade super large wormhole jumps. At this time, the Devil Dispatcher on Devil 2 reported in the communication with a panicked voice. Achuo, come back quickly. King Tianjian will not kill the queen. Our first priority now is to get out of here. Otherwise, we will be surrounded by the angel fleet and none of us will be able to escape. Another senior demon who stayed behind at demon number 2 spoke loudly to Achuo in the communication. But Queen. Achuo wanted to say something else, but was interrupted by a demon named Arda in the communication. There's no time. Achuo, as long as we are still here, we will have plenty of opportunities to rescue the queen in the future. If we all die here, the queen will really have no chance to escape. Achuo gritted his teeth and looked past 101 to the figure standing in the sky next to his queen. Even though she didn't make any move, it was still like a huge mountain weighing on the hearts of all demons. It was like an insurmountable barrier standing between them and the queen, giving all the demons a sense of despair. Retreat. Achuo almost gritted his teeth and spat out these two words in the communication. Binghua didn't stop him, so the Angel Legion was naturally responsible for destroying these demons, and the Executor and 101 also chased after them. Binghua believes that with their pursuit, the demons' future life will never be too good. It was only then that Binghua restored Liang Bing's ability to speak, and the dark communication shield was not lifted. I thought based on your personality, you would catch up. Morgana raised her head slightly and looked at Binghua. Seeing that Achuo and the others had chosen to retreat, her voice lost the excitement before and became much calmer. Your status in my heart is much higher than theirs. I must ensure that you will not escape my control. Binghua also turned around and focused his gaze on his former sister. Then I really feel honored that my value in your heart is higher than that of the main force of the demonic civilization. What are you going to do to me, whether to kill me and erase my secret information, or to publicly judge my sins in the Merlo Heavenly Court? Morgana asked with a smile, not becoming hysterical at her situation. As a god who has lived for tens of thousands of years and experienced death once in the process, Morgana is not very afraid of her own death. Binghua did not answer Liang Bing's question, but suddenly said something. It shouldn't have come to this between us. Morgana laughed when she heard this, and after a while her laughter stopped. Binghua, I have always admired your decisiveness and your attitude towards the enemy before, but now I find that you are as naive as my sister. I created a demonic civilization and built an order system with fallen freedom as the core. I am undoubtedly the enemy of angelic civilization. What you and Kesha should do most is to judge my sins in front of all civilizations in the universe to show your determination to strengthen the righteous order. Morgana seemed to be talking about something that had nothing to do with her, but hearing it in Binghua's ears made her feel very complicated. But Binghua, you also think that my sister's justice order is wrong, right? Otherwise, you would not have chosen to suddenly retire when Marrow Heaven was strong and disappear from the known universe. You see, we all have the same idea, but you chose to hide and be a spectator, while I chose to confront it head-on. Before Morgana could continue, Binghua interrupted her directly. Kesha's concept of justice is indeed not perfect, but is there really anything perfect in the world? The reason why I quit Merlot Heaven is not because I want to be a spectator. Rather, I want to find an answer, a way to make up for the shortcomings of the just order. Fortunately, I found it. Although it still has some flaws, it is infinitely closer to perfection in my heart. So I cannot agree with your idea. Destruction and chaos are never the future, only order and unity are. Looking at the unwavering faith in Binghua's eyes, Morgana lowered her head again. Then I would like to congratulate you, Binghua. I hope you can still stick to your point of view when the fear of the void comes. When Binghua and Liangbing were debating the issue of order, the space near them fluctuated like waves. A huge wormhole appeared in the void, and then sky blades with majestic hulls and wings spread flew out of it. This is the Sky Blade battle group that Merlot Heaven has not used for a long time. This time it was specially assembled to annihilate the main force of the demon civilization. With the emergence of the Sky Blade battle group, Morgana will also lose the possibility of final escape, because with the Sky Blade battle group comes a restriction device specially made to restrict Liangbing. Your Excellency, the Heavenly Sword King, the Dark Energy Limiter and the Space-Time Disruptor have been activated. Next, Demon King Morgana will be imprisoned in a special prison room within the Skyblade, and we will be responsible for escorting her back to Merlot Heaven. 8 god-level angels stood beside Morgana, put on special shackles on her, and saluted Binghua. You're welcome, I will also escort Morgana back to Merlot Heaven with you. We can be considered colleagues for the rest of the trip. Binghua responded with a smile and escorted the angel, and followed his footsteps to escort Morgana into the Skyblade's prison room. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 938. My God, according to the latest news, the Heavenly Sword King made a sneak attack on the residents of the demon civilization and captured the Demon King Morgana alive. In the Styx Galaxy, at the new Death Song Academy, Snow is reporting to Carl the latest intelligence he has collected. Carl paused in fiddling with the data after hearing this, waved his hand to disperse the projection, turned to look at Snow, and frowned slightly. Tell me more about the process. Facing Carl's questioning, Snow could only tell all the rough information he had collected. Sure enough, Heavenly Sword King Binghua is an uncontrollable factor. Oh my God, do we need to rescue the Demon King Morgana? If she is escorted back to Merlot Heaven by angels, we will have no chance at all. Snow suggested aloud that he was very confident in his infiltration skills, especially with the assistance of the Styx Void Engine generation. Snow, you think too simply of Binghua and Angel. According to my understanding of Kesha, the Angel lineup escorting Morgana is absolutely extremely powerful. Maybe even the Heavenly Sword King Hexi will be involved, and according to your information, the Heavenly Sword King did not personally participate in the encirclement and suppression of the remnants of the demon civilization. It is very likely that the Heavenly Sword King is also escorting the angels. Even if you relied on the Void Engine to infiltrate the Skyblade, Could you possibly rescue the Demon King Morgana under the eyes of the two Angel Kings? Carl is very rational, and he has never regarded an angel who can overwhelm the entire known universe as a fool. This is also the reason why he has been asking Snow to contact various civilizations secretly, but he has not acted rashly. He is waiting for an opportunity with a 100% success rate. As long as this opportunity does not appear, he will remain dormant. Then, my God, are we just going to watch Morgana being escorted back to Merlot heaven? Without the involvement of demons, many of our Styx's future plans in the known universe will come to a standstill. This is why Snow is so anxious to save Morgana. Other than that, he doesn't have a good impression of the devil. In this case, you will go to the Pak Nebula and the Kamigawa Tiendeo galaxy recently to get in touch with the Thanes civilization, the Islanders, and the Thunderblade stars to see what they think about the current situation in the universe. Also contact Hawaii and tell him that Styx can provide him with technological and weapons support. But whether he can take over Angel Nebula in the future depends on his own ability. After Carl finished speaking, he waved his hand. Seeing this, Snow immediately resigned and started to do things. The news that Demon King Morgana was captured by the angels spread quickly, and the angels had no intention of hiding it. The attitude of advanced God-making civilizations to this is unclear, but ordinary aerospace-level civilizations and post-nuclear civilizations that have access to the interstellar world are very happy about this matter. After all, the proliferation of demons has the greatest impact on these civilizations. Faced with the intrusion of demon civilizations, they have no ability to resist at all. Every time, we can only hope that the judgment of the angel civilization will come soon. Now that the Demon King Morgana is captured by the angels, the destruction of the demon civilization is not far away. In the Skyblade returning to Merlot heaven, Binghua sat outside the room where Liangbing was imprisoned as usual. It seems that Carl is not as fond of you as he thought. He is about to arrive at Merlot heaven. He has no intention of saving you. Facing Binghua's words, Liangbing, who was imprisoned on the wall by the force field, sneered. Why would he send his men here to die when he knew you were escorting me here? Are you stupid or is he stupid? Binghua was not surprised by Liangbing's attitude. In fact, Binghua chose to escort Liangbing back in person because of this concern. If Liangbing was kidnapped by Carl's men, then her trip would be in vain. That's why Binghua chose to go back with the Skyblade. Anyway, if you have nothing to do, why don't we talk about Carl? Binghua opened another topic, but Liangbing frowned when he heard this. You have already read my information, why do you still ask me such boring questions? After Liangbing was imprisoned in the prison cell, Binghua read Liangbing's information with the support of Samilo's purification host computing power. But because Liangbing is also good at playing with dark information, Binghua can only read some insignificant things. However, Binghua also clarified a lot of doubts. First of all, Liangbing and Carl were not very close partners. The two sides can only be called strategic allies and have never cooperated in fighting. Except for the occasional conversations between Liangbing and Carl and the exchange of resources, the two are like two unrelated civilizations. That's why Binghua started to raise the topic about Carl. To be honest, I'm quite curious about Carl's thoughts and ideas. I was in a hurry last time when I went to his place, and I didn't have time to have a good chat with him, so we started fighting. Regarding Binghua's behavior of opening her eyes and telling lies, Liangbing twitched the corners of her mouth, but as Binghua said, she had nothing to do anyway, and she didn't mind talking to Binghua. Anyway, there are no secrets between her and Carl that cannot be told. Carl, to be honest, I don't hate him in my heart, but this guy has some thoughts about me, I can see it. But this was just what I thought when I was in Super Seminary. Ever since he chose to withdraw from my space-time gene research project and went to delve into the void, there is nothing left to say between me and him. Binghua was quite surprised by Liangbing's words. She thought the two had a good relationship. You hate the void? Liang Bing laughed a few times when he heard this. Void? I don't hate void, I just hate unknown things. That guy Carl delved into the void and made himself stupid, and even used himself for experiments. To be honest, I really admire him for this. But every time he talked to me on the phone, he would mention void, and I was tired of these two words. As soon as he mentions the void, I will hang up the communication, so to disappoint you, I don't know much about the void. Looking at Binghua's slightly frowning brow, Liang Bing smiled happily. She didn't hide anything, but it was precisely because of this that she was happy. Seeing Binghua's confused look, she felt very happy inside. As the sky blade flew out of the large wormhole in the Marrow Galaxy, the journey to escort Liang Bing finally came to an end. Passing through the Stargate array hiding the Merlot Heavenly Palace, the Heavenly Blade stopped in the Heavenly Palace. A group of high-level angels had already lined up to welcome Binghua's return. Your Excellency, King of Heavenly Sword, Queen Kesha is waiting for you to escort the Demon King Morgana to the Melo Conference Hall. The high-ranking angel who led the queue bowed and said to Binghua. Binghua said he knew, and together with the god-level angel responsible for escorting Liang Bing, he took Liang Bing out of the prison room, and flew toward the Melo Conference Hall with the dozens of high-level angels who greeted him. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 939. In the Merlot Conference Hall, Kesha is high above the angel throne. On the steps below are the sacred wings. Below are the god-level angels and high-level angels on both sides. The conference hall was silent at this moment, as all the angels were waiting for something. After an unknown amount of time, at the main entrance of the conference hall, Morgana was escorted by 8 god-level angels and Binghua to the front of the steps of Kesha's throne. I didn't expect there to be quite a few familiar faces. I haven't seen you all for a long time. Before Kesha spoke, Liang Bing spoke first. She looked around and found some former colleagues. But no angel present responded to Liang Bing's words, and she didn't care either. Should I call you Demon King Morgana or Angel Liang Bing now? Kesha's eyes that had been closed finally reopened at this moment, and asked a question she had always wanted to ask. Is this important? King of Angels, if you want to condemn me, please hurry up. Seeing Liang Bing's attitude, Kesha lost the desire to continue asking. In fact, all the angels present knew that today's meeting was just a formality. Demon King Morgana, you have violated many laws of the just order. Indiscriminately releasing demonic genes, destroying life in the divine river body, researching anti-life technology, and undermining the stability of the order of justice. Kesha sentenced Liang Bing to the crimes one by one, and Liang Bing had no intention of refuting this. But in the end, Kesha did not sentence Liang Bing to death. Instead, she was sent to angel prison and imprisoned forever, where she could forever reflect on her crimes. The team responsible for escorting Liang Bing to angel prison was not large, only 5 angels. Except for the 2 god-level angels who were responsible for holding Liang Bing, the remaining 3 were Kesha, Hexi, and Binghua. In the deepest part of angel prison, Liang Bing was put on dark silver shackles, and a dark energy limiter was installed on his neck to prevent it from driving dark energy. The surrounding alloy walls are equipped with space-time interference devices to prevent Liang Bing from using wormholes and space technology to jailbreak. At this moment, Liang Bing is not much different from an ordinary mortal woman except for the basic physical fitness brought by the divine body itself. Watching the blue energy barrier rise and close, completely separating Liang Bing from the outside world, Kesha only said one sentence. You will always be here to atone for your mistakes. As soon as she finished speaking, Kesha turned around and left without hesitation. After Kesha left, He-11 finally said. I welcome you to try to escape this prison. If you succeed, what little freedom you have left will disappear. He 11 couldn't bear to think about the fact that Liang Bing deceived her and caused Kesha's injury, but now that the other party has been locked up, there is no need for her to dwell on this matter. Binghua said nothing and left with He 11, leaving Liang Bing alone in the prison silently. As all the angels left, Liang Bing found that he was not as calm as he had originally imagined. Originally, according to her expectation, when Kesha was judging her, she was going to disgust her sister and laugh at her indecisiveness. But in fact, when she looked at her sister Kesha in the mellow hall, Liang Bing found that some of the words in her heart could not be spoken at all, and in the end she was just brought here in silence. As the demon king Morgana was imprisoned in the angel prison, demonic civilization became a fight in the known universe. Without Morgana, the main god who is proficient in space technology, some advanced god-making civilizations that were originally wary of demonic civilization also began to suppress the remaining demons. After all, the demon civilization also has several celestial battleships, as well as celestial computing clouds, and their unique space technology, which are all good things. However, it is often said that a skinny camel is bigger than a horse. Although the remnants of the demonic civilization are being chased by the angelic civilization and are running for their lives across the universe, not everyone can covet them. Therefore, each civilization adopts suppression instead of taking direct action, fearing that the demon civilization will in turn seize resources. The subsequent impact of the capture of Demon King Morgana did not stop there. With the collapse of demon civilization, a large number of battle angels in the Merlot heaven who were restrained by demons were liberated. Originally there were only a small number of angels monitoring the area around the Styx galaxy, but during this period the number of angels monitoring them more than doubled. The most intuitive impact it has is that Carl's agent Snow has recently left the Styx galaxy and has to hide his traces, otherwise he will be detected by angels if he is not careful. After that, no matter where Snow went, there would be several tails following behind him. He could not avoid them, but he could not kill them. This made Snow very angry. "Are you planning to leave Merlot heaven?" He 11 asked this question when he saw that Binghua was collecting his experimental data recently. "Sister Hexie, I have been in the known universe for a long time. There are still some unsolved problems in the world of justice, and it may not be a good thing to continue dragging them out. This is no excuse. Although the Eternal Ascended One, the mortal enemy of the justice world, has been eliminated, another threat, the Chaos Virus, has always been nestled in the Chaos Star territory. Moreover, news came from the justice world not long ago that, in addition to the Chaos Virus, in the nearly 100 years since she left, a small-scale rebellion had occurred on the edge of the justice world. This made Binghua frown. The laws of the righteous world are not perfect, but they can also be said to be extremely perfect. There is also a heavenly sword system to control the overall situation. Not only was it unbelievable that a rebellion would happen, but it was also very puzzling for Binghua, so she decided to return to the world of justice as soon as possible. Seeing that Binghua had decided to leave, Hexie didn't try to persuade him. After all, Binghua was different from her. As a king of order and civilization, it was not necessarily a good thing to leave his royal court for too long. Keisha was not too surprised by Binghua's departure, because she knew that Binghua had always focused on the world of justice and could not stay in Merlot heaven for a long time. As a student of Binghua, although Len was sad to see his teacher leave, as a serving angel of Merlot heaven, Len could not let go of his relationship with his sisters and left with his teacher. The day before leaving Merlot heavenly court, Hexie handed over the silver feather made according to Binghua's requirements to her as a parting gift to Binghua. The Thane star system, the home planet of Thane civilization, the Thane war god frowned as he listened to the Archon's report. "What do you think the death god Carl wants to do? Support us in unifying the Park Nebula at such a huge cost? Your Excellency God of War, judging from the latest trends in the angel civilization, it is very likely that the god of death, Carl, is facing off against the angels. His purpose in supporting us is simply to let us draw the attention of angelic civilization. Only by unifying the pocket nebula can Arthane civilization be qualified to enter the site of the angel civilization. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 941. The news of Binghua's return to the justice world did not spread. Only the top angels of the justice world knew about it. This was Binghua's instruction. Binghua attaches great importance to the rebellion in the galaxy on the edge of the world of justice, and she wants to find out what the cause of the rebellion is. As soon as he arrived at the God's throne world and came out of the gate of time and space, Binghua contacted the Tianjian system. Sky Sword, Jacques, Kerr, what's going on with the rebellion in the Santa Galaxy? Get me the detailed information. Seeing that the Queen's voice was very serious, the projection of Tianjian no longer made jokes as usual, and started to read the information very obediently. Soon, information about the rebellion in these three galaxies was projected by Tianjian. Seeing this, Binghua directly read the data, and then frowned deeply. Because of the macro control of the Sky Sword system, most world data and information in the world of justice are actually undefended to her. However, these three planetary systems are located far away from the core radiation circle of the world of justice and are located in areas close to the border. They are worlds that have just become colonial stars in recent decades. Because of the war with the Eternal Ascended Ones and the defense against the invasion of chaos, the construction of the Edge world in the Justice world has actually slowed down in recent years. As a result, the existence time of the colonial star worlds was greatly extended. These worlds nominally belong to the Just world and also implemented the laws of the Just world. However, the Justice world only has a small number of defense corps stationed in these colonial worlds, and even the Sky Sword system's supervision of them is relatively limited. But according to the information read by Binghua, this rebellion is also involved with people within the Justice world. Tianjian only has a mimetic personality, and usually only performs data analysis on some things without taking the actual situation into consideration. From Binghua's point of view, the rebellion in these three galaxies was partly caused by the secret guidance and acquiescence of the officials of the Justice world. Binghua's solution to this problem was to temporarily avoid the administrative agencies of the Justice world and directly contact the Judgment Angel responsible for supervision. What's going on with the rebellion in the three galaxies of Ran, Jacques, Kerr, and Santa? Did the Angels of Judgment intervene? Ran on the other side of the communication was a little surprised when she heard Binghua's voice. She didn't know about Binghua's return yet. Seeing Binghua asking about the rebellion, Ran suppressed his joy and began to report the information he had learned. Queen, the Angel of Judgment has intervened in the rebel galaxy and united with the nearby defense forces to defeat the rebels, but because many innocent civilians are involved, we are conducting an investigation. The information that has been learned so far is that the leader of the rebels is named Iron Birkin, and he is the captain of an interstellar expedition team. 20 years ago, after he returned to the Shanta world, he began to spread some information that discredited the world of justice. Coupled with the oppression and information blockade of the residents of the colonial world by Shanta world, this resulted in a large-scale rebellion. What we have investigated so far is that a large number of interstellar expedition teams have participated in the rebellion. Binghua frowned slightly when he heard this, because the composition of the interstellar expedition team was very complicated, because of the expedition and development strategy when the Justice world was founded. A large number of defense forces and legionnaires from various worlds have chosen to join this industry after retiring, causing the total size of the interstellar expedition team to exceed the number of regular armies in several worlds. But Binghua didn't care about this at the time. As a being with absolute power, the interstellar expedition team couldn't make any waves even if they were out of control. Just like this time, although there was a large-scale rebellion in the three worlds, as soon as the Angel of Judgment and the nearby elite legions intervened, the rebellious world quickly returned to stability. Seeing that the situation was not going well, the main force of the rebels simply abandoned the world they controlled and fled into the deep space of the universe. They did not even have the courage to touch the regular army of the righteous world. In the end, Binghua could only let Ran continue to investigate the cause of the rebellion, and the leader of the rebels must be found and punished with canonical punishment. After giving the order, an unexpected communication popped up. It was Haikawi who was wandering around the world of justice. I heard from my sister that you were back, but you didn't even tell me. Didn't I just arrive in the justice world and haven't had time to inform you? But if I don't come back, I won't disturb you, the Lord who wanders around the universe, right? Binghua was not polite to Hizui, and there was no need for the two to engage in false polite words. Of course your presence or absence in the righteous world will not affect my enjoyment of life. But Binghua, I have heard a lot of bad comments in various worlds recently. You're sitting too high up so you might not hear it, but I think you need to pay attention. After Hizui finished speaking, he relayed some of the information he heard to Binghua. After Hizui hung up the communication, Binghua looked very calm, but any angel who was familiar with her could detect that Binghua was not in a good mood. It's very simple. Some people are spreading information in the world of justice and deliberately provoking conflicts between the army and civilians. The core of this is the third-generation super-modified warrior technology. And although they are lagging behind, they are still shining brightly in the military of various worlds. The second generation and the first generation transform warrior technology. Although some of these technologies were eliminated by Binghua, the restrictions were not relaxed, but were firmly controlled by the military of various worlds and the world of gods. The most common among the people is mechanical transformation technology, or the civilian version of the more mature generation transformation technology. Although it can give people a strong and healthy body and a lifespan of hundreds of years, it is nothing compared to the superhuman physique and thousands of years of life after the transformation of the elite legion. The reason why Binghua does not open up these technologies is not because it is afraid that the people will master such powerful transformation technologies and thus threaten the just world itself, because this is simply unrealistic. The reason why she doesn't open up these technologies is simple. The defense forces in the world of justice are not capable of popularizing first and second generation transformed warriors. What qualifications do the civilians have to intervene? In Binghua's strategy, all high-end technologies must be popularized by the military before entering civilian use in various worlds. Now it seems that the higher UPS within Justice World are a little dissatisfied with this, since they tacitly agree to the spread of such remarks. In this case, Binghua doesn't mind letting those who stay behind and win all day know who has the final say in the world of justice. Binghua contacted Ran again and gave direct instructions. Ran, let your judgment angels stationed in various worlds collect for me the existences that guide public opinion. Let them stop taking action first, I want to see how many people think this way. After saying this, Binghua hung up the communication and left the world of the God's throne, taking only a dozen close angels with him. Hyoka's target is not the three worlds that have been disrupted, but a world in the area that Tsuryui said is located in the middle of the Justice World. Super Seminary Angel Binghua. Author, Shifeng Si Wang. Chapter 942. The Talda world is a world located in the central area of the Justice World. Compared with the Edge worlds, most of the worlds in the middle are more prosperous unless the environment is harsh. The Talda world is also one of the many worlds that has been deeply developed. Although it is not an original world, its influence and economy are comparable to some original worlds that later joined the Justice World. Korenthal is the governor of the Talda world. He stood in front of the huge floor-to-ceiling windows in his office, overlooking the neat buildings and the small flying cars that were passing in the air. Lord Corenthal, there have been more and more protests recently against the military's mastery of enhanced technology but not authorization for civilian use. Do we need to mobilize the defense force to maintain order? A man wearing a slim-fitting buttoned formal suit, a meticulous face and a slicked back hair walked into the office of the consul and told his purpose. Mal, you are from the military. Do you think the military will relax restrictions on enhanced technology because of public protests? Corenthal did not reply to Moore's inquiry, but suddenly mentioned the human body modification and enhancement technology that has recently caused a storm of public opinion. Lord Corenthal, the military will not let go of this easily, because if there is one, there will be two. Moreover, some dangerous technologies mastered by the military have been prohibited from spreading to the people, which will greatly affect the stability of the righteous world. Moore frowned, but still answered Corenthal's question. To be honest, he had been a little confused recently about the Archon's operations. He allowed public opinion to ferment without any response. He had proposed several times to curb the spread of these remarks, but the consuls ignored him. Now many people in the Talda world are paying attention to this matter, and a large number of ordinary people have been dragged in because of information asymmetry. And because of the repeated concessions of the Talda world government, the people have become increasingly aggressive under the guidance of thoughtful people, and their protests have changed from online protests to offline protests. It is foreseeable that if it is not handled properly, the most serious bloody conflict in the world of Talda is likely to break out. That's why Moore proposed mobilizing the defense force to maintain order and prevent the situation from getting out of control. Even if there is an accident, the presence of the defense force can minimize the impact. Corenthal naturally saw the frown on his subordinate Moore's frown, and comforted him. I have asked the Public Security Bureau to take charge of this matter. If the National Defense Forces intervene at this time, it is likely to worsen the situation. Moore said nothing after hearing this. He was just an executive, responsible for the regulation of urban order, otherwise he would not come to Corenthal frequently. Since Lord Corenthal has already made plans, I won't bother you anymore. After speaking, Moore left, but he kept an eye on it and entered Corenthal's decision-making and recent events into his administrative diary. Corenthal frowned when he saw his executive officer leaving. He had been in charge of the Talda world for decades and had many of his cronies in the ruling bureau. But recently, Corenthal has found that his control over the ruling bureau is still not enough, and his orders and attitudes have not been fully implemented. Executives like Moore who are confused and puzzled by the current situation have already had several people come to him, wanting to control the development of the situation. But how could Corenthal allow it? As a consul, his age is not that old among the consuls in many worlds. But as time goes by, he will eventually come to the end of his life, which will not be changed by mechanical and ordinary biological modifications. But as a consul, he knew very well that the Justice World military had transformation technology that could give people a long lifespan and powerful strength. Even the kings of the original worlds possess this technology, and some of them are older than the birth of the world of justice. The most famous among them is the eternal Queen Shi, who is also the most famous among the many original kings in the world of justice. Not only does she have a face that never ages, her strength is also comparable to the most powerful high-level battle angel in the world of justice. From a level point of view, they are the same, both are the rulers of the same world, but from a status point of view, they are very different. But this does not stop Corenthal from wanting to have as long a life and powerful power as the eternal Queen Shi. So a plan appeared in his mind. It was possible to get what he wanted without him taking action personally. Even if it failed, he would at most be held responsible for a decision-making error by the Ministry of Internal Affairs of the Divine Throne world. As for the troublesome guys from the Judgment Angel, as long as no evidence of his crime is found, they can't do anything to him. As the impact of the protests on the world of Talda spread, Other surrounding worlds were also affected to a certain extent. When Binghua arrived in the world of Talda, with the help of his Eye of Insight and Sky Sword system, he discovered that the protest team here had reached an extremely large scale. The goddess is very sorry. We have been investigating the person behind the incitement of public opinion during this period, but the person behind it is hiding very deep. The few leaders we caught were just minor characters who couldn't get on the stage. In the court where the Judgment Angels were, the captain of the Judgment Angels stationed in the world of Talda half knelt in front of Binghua in shame. It's not your responsibility, I already know what happened here. Until now, Archon Corenthal has not stepped forward to curb the development of the situation. It is obvious that the spread of public opinion is also inseparable from him. Binghua was different from the Judgment Angels here. To arrest someone, they needed evidence of the other party's crime. She suspected that a consul didn't need any evidence. The captain of the Judgment Angel clearly heard dissatisfaction and anger from the goddess's words, and knew that it was time to speak for himself. Goddess, Corenthal is not in power now, but in his own manner. Our angel in charge of monitoring discovered that he was having a meeting online with archons from other worlds. Unfortunately, we have no way to get the specific content without alerting the other party. Hearing this, Binghua was slightly surprised, and the Judgment Angel captain explained. I have long suspected that there might be Corenthal's guidance behind this protest. But due to the laws of the just world, I cannot directly arrest and try him without evidence. Therefore, I just sent a Judgment Angel to stare at him near him, planning to wait for him to reveal any flaws before arresting him. But now that you are here, Goddess, we don't have to go to such trouble. Hearing this, Binghua's image of the Judgment Angel captain greatly changed. Now that I know his location, I will go and ask him personally why he did this. After Binghua finished speaking, he took the lead to leave, and the surrounding Judgment Angels quickly followed.